everyone, and welcome once again to Caleb Likes Books. Today I have my end of the month for July 2024 update for you, talking about the books that I've read this month, a couple books that I got, as well as a general channel update and all of that kind of thing. So we'll get right started into it. This month I read 5 books, all of which were in my TBR. At the time I'm recording this, it's a couple days before this comes out, which itself is even a couple days before the end of the month. So there's a chance that I may not finish these books by the end of the month, but I think there's a very high chance that I will. So I think I should have gotten to everything in my TBR by the end of the month, which is nice. I've not done that a huge amount this year. I think this will only be like the second or third month of the year so far that I've been able to do that. So first things first, I got through 2 books in the Star Wars The New Jedi Order series. One of those being Force Heretic 3 Reunion, which is the 3rd book in the Force Heretic trilogy and the 17th book of the series, which I really enjoyed. Thought it was a great book, great ending to the Force Heretic trilogy, far better than the first 2 books. The first 2 books I thought were fine, but they are individually maybe my least favorite New Jedi Order books, but the 3rd one, I think, in contrast, was one of the best books in the series. Absolutely loved it, had a great time with it. And then we have The Final Prophecy, which I also loved. It is also one of my favorite books in the series. That's book 18 of the series. Really loved that one a lot. I think at the time that I'm recording this, I don't believe my review for that is going to be out by the time this video comes out, but will be soon. The review for Reunion is on the channel already. And then I also read Revival by Stephen King. That review is already out as well, which I absolutely loved. This is one of my favorite books that I read this year. Just had a great time with it. I read it in like 2 or 3 days, I think. Or no, I think it took me 4 days to read it, but one of those days I didn't read at all. So really 3 days of reading it took me to read this book. And it's not like a long book, but it's not a short book either. It's still like 500 pages or so. And I just flew right through it. I had a great time with it. I could not finish it fast enough. I loved that book. One of my favorite books of the year so far. And then my final 2 books are the ones that I am currently in the middle of. The first of which is Will White's Of Darkness and Dawn, which is the 2nd book of the Elder Empire Shadow trilogy, and the 4th book of the Elder Empire in general that I have read. At the time that I am recording this video, I'm about halfway through it. We'll probably be a bit further than that, if not have finished it by the time this video comes out, which I'm enjoying. So far, the middle books in each of the Elder Empire trilogies have not quite been doing it for me as much as the first books did. You know, I'm enjoying this book a decent amount, but it's not quite grabbing me, so we'll see how I feel about it by the time I finish it. And then I'm also currently working on Mistborn, The Well of Ascension, the 2nd book of the original Mistborn trilogy, which I am loving. Revisiting the Mistborn trilogy has been a joy so far. At the time I'm recording this, I'm about 1/3 of the way through the book, and again, we'll probably be further than that by the time this video comes out. But I'm having a great time rereading this. Rereading the first Mistborn book was an absolute delight, and rereading this one is also an absolute delight. I just love this trilogy, and I'm so excited to be reading it again. It's been a great time. So reviews for, let's see, Final Prophecy, of Darkness and Dawn. Saying the Elder Empire series titles is difficult for me. And the Well of Ascension. Those 3 will all be out. Reviews for those should be out in August, whereas the others should already be out. So to talk about books that I got this month, I got 5 books this month, which normally that would be an amount that I would make its own dedicated video for, but I only really have 3 things to talk about because I got a trilogy and then 2 other books. So the trilogy that I got is the Broken Empire trilogy by Mark Lawrence. This is otherwise known as like the Prince of Thorns trilogy. It's like Prince of Thorns, King of Thorns, Emperor of Thorns is the name of the 3 books. This is a trilogy that I've been wanting to get my hands on for quite a while. I know it was popular back like 10 years ago, 10, 15 years ago, something like that. Very popular series in the fantasy space. And so I've been wanting to check it out for a while because I want to get kind of caught up on some of the really big hits and things like that. And this trilogy apparently is one of them. So looking forward to reading it. Don't know much about it, but I've heard good things about it. I've heard great things about Mark Lawrence's recent books as well. So looking forward to reading these books eventually. I also got the complete works of Edgar Allan Poe, which Poe is an author that I've been wanting to read more of for a long time. I read a couple of his short stories back in high school, in my freshman year of high school, and I really enjoyed them. Even though at the time I was even less of a horror fan than I am now. I'm still not super into horror. I've only read, you know, a little bit. But I always kind of was fascinated by the work of Edgar Allan Poe and always wanted to read more of it. And so I'm very excited to now have the complete works, which I will read at some point, and hopefully I will enjoy it. Big fan of like H.P. Lovecraft and stuff, and I know that Poe was a big influence on him. Even though I know like the content of their stories was a little different, but they were both horror short story writers and things. And I've read a little bit of Poe before and enjoyed it, so I think I'll have a good time with this collection. And then the last thing that I bought was just kind of one that I bought on a whim. I mean, really all of these were kind of bought on a whim. Those four, the trilogy and Edgar Allan Poe, I bought while I went to the bookstore, and I just kind of saw what they had and picked them up. This one I'd never heard of before. This was one of my surprise books, which is called Confessions of a Pagan Nun. Can't remember the name of the author for this book off the top of my head, but this is one that was at the donation bin at the grocery store that I work at. And every time I'm there, I kind of look through the book bin to see if there's anything that looks kind of interesting. And this one, the title of it really kind of caught my attention. Thought it sounded kind of interesting, so I picked it up. Apparently it's like Irish, Celtic, kind of story with some religious themes and things like that. Seems kind of interesting, a little different from what I usually read, but I thought it would be kind of something nice, something a little bit different. And so looking forward to reading that one as well. And as far as channel updates are concerned, not much to talk about. We are currently sitting at the mid 540s. Of course, last month we surpassed 500 subscribers, which is super exciting. And so this month we've gained probably about 25 subscribers or so. At the moment, it's around that amount. There may be a few more by the time this video comes out, but doing pretty good. We're in the mid 500s, which is nice to see. So things are going well on the channel. Haven't really had anything too crazy to talk about on the channel. Looking ahead to next month, I have some very exciting things planned, some books that I'm very excited to talk about, some videos planned as well that I'm very excited about, and the books that I'm going to be reading next month, which I will talk to you about in my next video. So that's pretty much it for the update. Let me know in the comments if you guys have read anything cool this month, if you read any of the books that I have talked about, whether they be the ones that I read or the ones that I picked up. Let me know your thoughts of them and all that stuff. So that's pretty much it for today. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.